Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Lindsey and I are back for more Survivor 50 coverage, and you're not seeing things. We have two Jakes on the screen. Jake from Survivor Vanquish season 15, Lindsey season again represented. So welcome to the podcast, Jake.
Three Jakes, get it
Three
right.
Jakes. There's three of us.
Yes, that's true.
No, thanks for having me, guys. This is awesome.
Yeah. It's great to not be the only Jake on Tribe of Nerds. So, but yeah, so today we're going to be talking about themes. So good, bad, what we liked, what we disliked, because there's been a lot of themes in 49 previous seasons. Not all of them worked. So we're going to be discussing that and maybe any themes that we would like to see after 50 is done, which I'm not even sure that they're ever going to go back to themes because I think Jeff is under the belief that they don't need themes. So.
If not a theme, give us a new location at least. Give us something.
Yeah, 100% agree. So, anything before we get into it with our first theme here?
I think it would be smart to like what constitutes a good theme in your eyes. I think that'd be cool to know.
Yes.
Well, what do you guys think? What's a good theme? What's a bad theme? What constitutes it?
Yeah, I think a good theme is like if it fits with the cast, if the cast can make the theme work, I think it's probably a good theme. Or if they don't just like get rid of it like a few episodes in, like they've absolutely done. Like Panama, for example, got rid of the theme like one episode in. Well, they had Exile Island, but like their starting tribes, they literally didn't have for even one episode. Like they need to like stick with it, otherwise it's not gonna work in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I like seeing it well executed by the players. Like, for example, I do have a theme that's on my list if I don't want to see it again because it was executed perfectly. I don't think it'd be replicated. So I really love to see it, what makes sense throughout the season, how it fits with the players, how it impacts Survivor as a whole. What about you, Jake? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think a good theme for me, it has to last more than 3 episodes for one. I think it has to be a season-long theme. And I think it's really important that the cast has to then embody the theme as well. I think it really helps whenever the cast is dead set on whatever the theme is and they kind of like go full throttle into it. Because I think it adds for an interesting dynamic and from a viewer's perspective, makes it more fun to watch.
100% agree. Well, yeah, so let's get into it. So I think let's start by tackling the good themes, our favorite themes, and then once we get through all the ones we have, then we can do the bad themes. So I'll go first. My first favorite theme has favorite name. We're going fans versus favorites. I mean, I think some people might not like, oh, they just keep picking like the really bad fans that are like have no experience. But I think that just comes down to casting. If you cast fans that know the game, I mean, if you cast fans like we had in like Edge of Extinction, where they got rid of all their attorneys when they could, and we didn't see any returnees reach the end, then I think it can work. It's just the problem is they aren't casting those, and so we get some really dumb fans. Yeah, I mean, you could probably count on one hand maybe like the half of both the fans' tribes in history that are like actually good casting choices. So
do you think that comes down to experience, though? Do you think it reads off that way because the favorites have so much more experience, or do you think it's specifically they're not casting people capable of contending against that?
I think the experience is definitely a part of it for sure, but I really do think if you cast fans like in Edge of Extinction, for example, then you're gonna get half the cast that works and that won't just let the returning players walk completely over them. Because even like Micronesia, eventually the fans do technically even up the numbers with the favorites, and they still get walked all over. So like, yeah, I just think it needs more experience from the fans of like they know the game and they're not just gonna get trampled.
They were a little bit trampled, but come on, how much money would we all pay to see Natalie Bolton back on our screen again?
Yeah.
Some people can really play as fans.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Natalie Bolton is one of them that I think is good, and also a friend of the show, Eric Reichenbach. Despite him making one of the dumbest moves, he still, I think, was a true super fan. He did make some good moves earlier in the game. It's just that he is playing with a bunch of women that know how Survivor is played and manipulated him. And when you have, I will say, like, when you have 4 women that, or 4 people in general, but women in this case manipulating one person, it's kind of unfair.
I think he got the most well-rounded kind of Survivor experience, right? He got to play as the fan and then the favorite. Like, he got both sides of the coin for him, so I think that's really cool.
I agree. 100%. We really haven't seen that much on Survivor. He's the only one that's coming to mind that really was a super fan, and then a favorite.
Yeah. I would also say Tracy, also been on the show. Tracy's great. And Micronesia, Caramo, and I mean, I do like Reynolds, but I don't think he's the greatest player. So I mean, those would probably be the ones that jump to mind for me as being like the best like fan players that we've had.
That makes sense. I do want to give a slight shout out to Alexis. Most people don't consider her as part of the Black Widow Brigade, but she really was. She was a key figure there. She helped it come together, and I follow her on social media. She's been a long-time Survivor fan. I think she played the hand she was dealt really well.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I mean, she was part of that majority in that alliance. It's just she doesn't get the credit because Amanda idled her out of the game. So.
Oopsies, that one blunder.
All right. Well, Lindsey, what's your first favorite theme that you want to bring back or see again?
Okay, an obvious favorite theme for me. I don't know why we haven't had it again. I want a Second Chances 2.0. Let it really be in the hands of the fans. There's so many people I'd love to see get a second chance.
Yeah, I had that on my list too. So I think for me, like it's weird because Jeff said even after the first Second Chances, like they would love to do this again. And then they just never brought it back. And he even like said, oh yeah, Carolyn Mama C, she's going to be back eventually. T-Bird's going to be back eventually. I'm pretty sure he said, and then they both get snubbed completely. So, I think that's a bit ridiculous. And I definitely would love to see, people that get a second chance that haven't yet, especially now that we have a bunch from the new era. We still have a bunch from the 30s and 20s that need second chances too.
Would you guys want to see second chances from like the girl who was first boot twice? Does that constitute a third chance, I guess? Or would you want to see people who were so close to winning and then just didn't, and that constitutes a second chance? Or what do you think qualifies in that sense?
Yeah, I think it should be an actual like second chance. Like Francesca technically never got like a full experience. She only played like technically 6 days of the actual game, not counting like 3 days on Redemption Island. But like I think that should not be in the equation here. I think that people who come close are great. I also would like to see a lot of pre-mergers. Like I think Billy Garcia, another friend of the show, would be great. Jackie and Gabon is one that I say like she got completely swap screwed. And like nobody remembers her, but she could have had a decent game had she had a better swap or made it through where she got voted out. So
I could definitely see that. I wouldn't mind some people that also went early merge that had potential and just situations or alliances just really weren't working for them. For example, if we're going back to the new era and looking at 45, like what the hell, guys? Let's let Kelly play again.
Yeah, agreed. Jake, who would you want to see back for a second chance?
Oh, I don't know. I think for me, anyone who, in my personal opinion, if you are idled out by a minority early, I think for me, that would constitute you to be on the short list for people who want a second chance. Just because I feel like early on, you're still kind of like forming the game you want to play. I don't think people necessarily always hit the ground running. We've seen a lot of great people kind of in the later half of the game, take form and win. So I think people who haven't had that chance to get that, I think that is like someone at the front of my list to be a second chance. But I can't think of any names, but that's my thought process.
Oh my gosh, no, that makes total sense to me. I'm blanking on his name, and Jake, you will know it. He was from 48. He was alliances with Bianca, and he got just taken out.
Thomas.
Yes, I feel like he could have cooked if he had more time.
Thomas is a good one. Another good one from recently. Maddie from 44. She got idled out in the first vote of the season. Like, there's a few of them that got idled out early that should get a second chance. Absolutely.
100%.
So, All right, Jake, what theme would you like to see again?
I'm gonna sound like such a casual, and I hate that, but I also kind of agree with what Lindsey said. I think that it was done so well the first time that I don't know if it would even be closely replicated again. But I would love to see a heroes villains again in the US format.
Yeah.
I am the biggest fan. I think anytime you have a format like that, I think it's great. They did it really good in Australia as well. I think that it checks all the boxes. You can really choose people who played a specific way because you really kind of fall, I think, in one of those two boxes generically. And I think that it allows for season-long progression. And I think that it is just, it won't ever be replicated again with the cast and the way it kind of went, but it's so good, and that will always be the top of my picks. And I think for a lot of people, they would agree.
Yep, had it on my list as well. Like,
It's too good.
It's such a good theme. It's like Australia like capitalized on like knowing that theme did so well in the US and made it work again, even though they cast newbies with returnees, which was a choice. But it worked because they picked really good returnees like King George, who just ran that game from start to finish and gave us one of the best tribals of all time. And the US had some of the best tribals of all time as well. Tyson voted himself off. JT with the double idol play from Parvati. And so like there's a lot of stuff that would be good that like constitutes heroes versus villains coming back.
I 100% agree. It's a classic theme, but it's also one of the ones that it's not on my list. I don't want to see it again because it was done perfectly because I love it so much. I would love to see it back. There's so many people from Survivor that could fall on a hero or a villain. And I also love to see it flipped. Like maybe you think you're a hero, they put you on the villain's tribe, let you go. Which brings a question to both of you all. We've all played Vanquish before, which is currently airing a new season if anyone wants to check that out. Are you all a hero or a villain in your own mind, or where would you put us on those tribes?
Jake, are you a hero or a villain?
Sound off below. I don't know. In my brain, I think I was a hero, but I don't. Just because I think if my side would have more so ran the game, I think there's potential for me to kind of borderline villain it. But I think the way we just couldn't get our shit together, and I died a hero and didn't live long enough to become a villain.
Yeah. I think I would be a hero just because I was loyal to my alliance the entire time, and so much so that I would have probably lost to her in the end had she not screwed herself. But that's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah. It is how it goes sometimes. I also like to think I'd be a hero, but I wouldn't be upset to be cast as a villain. As Abby Maria says, villains have more fun. And we did kind of dismantle your alliance because you couldn't get your stuff together. So that was a little villainous.
That was crazy. But yeah, now back to the heroes villains things. I think another thing that makes it really important is I think there's already like internalized like direct conflict from the jump. I think as a viewer, you love shows like not even to like throw out Big Brother in there, Big Brother 6. Like you have like very divided people from the jump. And if that can last season long, I think regardless, you're in for some great TV and a great season. So that's another reason why I love it so much.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and I think back to like post heroes versus villains, if they did the theme again in the US, like who would they cast? And so like I'm thinking like Malcolm, for example, would be like a hero. Villain, I mean Abby Maria, we mentioned her. Rome from 47 would be like a villain. Like I think there's some really good casting choices, even though Jeff says that they don't like villains on the show, they still have them.
Oh,
they're PGing it down. I'm sick.
Yeah. Anybody else you guys can think of off the top of your head that you would love to see on heroes versus villains?
If they were not on 50, I would think that, I don't want to say their names in case of spoilers here, the winners of 45 and 49 would be really fun villains, but I think we're gonna see enough of them on 50 that we don't need them in a future season for right now.
I agree. Jake?
I think a really good villain. She was from the new era. I don't know what season she played. The girl who hummed and she had her own
Shan, 41.
Yeah, I think Shan.
Shan. Yep.
Yeah, I think she would make a great villain, and I think the hum would have to come along with it, and I think it could be a whole thing, and I think it would be great.
Yeah, It bothers me how like there's a lot of people, like the only person that's representing 41 through 44 is Jonathan Young, and like we don't have 41, 43, or 44 represented, and there's a lot of people that could fit from those seasons, and other people from 42 as well, and they just chose, you know what, we have one guy that can represent these 4 seasons.
Yeah, like think about Owen from 43, or adding a 4th Jake to this chat, Jake O'Kane from 45. Like,
Yeah,
you saw them just try so hard. They'd be amazing heroes to watch them come back and do much better their second time. I mean, they did pretty phenomenal their first runs, but to really watch them go full hero mode would be very fun.
agreed. Yeah, it'd be interesting for sure. All right. So I have a few more themes that I have as favorites that we haven't discussed. I think this one is important to bring up. You can take one of the affiliations out if you so choose, because Australia did it. We're going Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty. You can remove the Beauty if you so choose, but I think this is just a fun theme. I mean, part of it is like that Kageon was just a phenomenal season, phenomenal cast, and they really made them all fit with the tribes they put them on. So like you had Beauty, you had like Morgan, who's super conceited, which is super funny. And then like Jeremiah's telling people he's a male model as if that's like the biggest bombshell secret. And then you have the Brains, you have Cass, you have Tasha, you have Spencer, who are clearly very smart people. Even though they're stuck on the crap for Brains tribe. And then Brawn, you have Sarah Lucina, you have Tony, you have Wu, Cliff Robinson. Like you have some very clear like brawny people. And then Ko-Ron, I think it's like a middle of the road season for me. But like the theme is still really good, and you still again got people that fit where they were designated. And then Australia did it, and that's how we got King George in that first Brains versus Brawn there, and then the second Brains versus Brawn. I mean, you got like Jungle Rat Miles, so like you got some really good picks from casting choices from those seasons doing those themes.
Yeah, I'm gonna fully jump in and agree here. I think it's an excellent theme. It's one that I think is repeatable, unlike some themes that Survivor has done. It's adaptable. And I also love that when you're just casting on Brain versus Brawn or Brain versus Brawn with Beauty, if you're doing that too, you can still put characters in there. Like Jatia is arguably the smartest person maybe ever play Survivor, and we see her like actually dump her rice in the fire because she gets so mad. So like you have characters with this theme, while other themes are a little bit restricting. So I think it's a great theme for that.
Yeah, I would even go as far to say we can take Beauty out of it completely, and I would love to see just a Brain versus Brawn. Because I think the way U.S. Survivor does it is where they'll do something physical, but it always ends with a puzzle. So I think that's a really good like evener with, I don't even know what the word is, but I can see like in the Australian versions sometimes they're all Brawn, or there's a lot more disparity between which side is the odds-on favorite to win. But I think our version does it really well where it is more balanced. So I'd like to see 2 tribes of 18 to 20 take on that format. I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, I agree completely with you, Jake. I think that they should do 2 tribes with it in the US. I think with Australia, it's also like, yeah, they have so many physical challenges over there that it's weird. And then they like put people who probably could fit on the Brawn tribe on the Brains just to try to make it fit. Like I'm pretty sure George's tribe had Baden, who was a professional cyclist, on the Brains tribe, and that doesn't really make sense, to be honest. But they made it work. But interestingly enough, everybody from these like 3 designations has won a Brains Brawn or Brains Brawn Beauty season. Michelle for Beauty, Aubrey and Miles for Brains, and then Brawn had Tony. So like all pretty solid winners. So
that's a great point.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed that. All right, Lindsey, what's your next theme that you really like?
Okay, this one might be controversial, but I kind of want to see a blood versus water again. We have so many players from Survivor, especially older players that maybe they played on season 10 or they played season 20. They have kids now. Some of them have adult kids, and I think it's a perfect way to bring back some of our older players in a natural season to do a blood versus water.
Yep. I did not actually have that one on my list because I went with something else, but that I figured Blood versus Water would get said. And it is a good theme. It caused a lot of drama in both Blood versus Water seasons. Like that first one of like one of the only times Redemption Island has worked, at least in the pre-merge, is because you have the loved ones and like the drama of going there and seeing your loved one has been voted out. And you added that in the pre-merge with San Juan del Sur as well. With the hero duels, but just seeing who got voted out, and it's like, oh no, like Natalie Anderson being like Nadia got voted out first, how that's going to affect her decision making in the game, and then she's going to go on to win without her sister and get revenge for her sister, for Jeremy later on. Like, I love that, and so and I know Australia did it as well, and I think that they just cast a lot of duds on that season, so it just didn't work. But then you also got Nina playing Survivor for the first time, and that was so fun. So, yeah, absolutely. Jake, your thoughts on Blood versus Water?
Yeah, I think it hits a head on the nail for me whenever it's like you get to see like legacy players then bring in like a new crop of people who have got to watch their parents play or something and see how they can replicate that and then still kind of pave their way. I think it adds for an interesting dynamic because you're playing your game hoping that you can meet up with your loved one, and if they go, it's like, oh, there's again ready-made beef because you voted out my mom, or I live long enough to vote out my own mom. Yeah, or you live long enough to vote out your own mom. But yeah, I don't know. It kind of just, I think it adds another element of it's hard to not take things maybe a little more personal, and maybe it's a little bit more than just game related. And I don't know. It's again from a viewer's perspective, I think it's great to watch.
Yes, because we can use Tina West and her daughter as the blueprint for a full season going forward, and that would be hilarious because Katie did not seem like she was super into the show. Tina also being a character trying to set her daughter up with, was it Aris or Vetus, with one of the two of them?
It was Vetus, yeah.
It just works as a whole.
Yeah, I just think that they, like, I think this is more on Australia. I think they need to cast more interesting, like, loved one pairs, because I think either only one of the pairs is interesting, or neither of them are, because they just didn't cast correctly. I mean, Australia literally had twins in that season, and they literally got no edit, and I'm just like, why were they even cast?
None at all.
Why are you here?
So, yeah, I think if they do it correctly, again, Blood versus Water would be great. All right. So for me,
Blood versus Water. I would like to see, you know how they always start them off on different tribes?
Yeah.
What if put them on the same tribe? I want to see a dynamic like that. There's ways to maybe switch it up to where it's 4 teams of 2 on a tribe and see how that dynamic goes. Or did they already do that? Am I remembering correctly?
4 tribes of 2?
Or not even like that, just putting duos on the same tribe instead of opposite and kind of seeing that dynamic.
I think that'd be really fun because we got an example of that post-merge, watching John and Jacqueline fight with each other the whole episodes as opposed to strategically planning. So I think that's a fun dynamic to start them together.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so I believe the original Blood versus Water was originally supposed to do that and put like blood pairs together, so like mom and daughters or something like that, and then like people who were married on the other tribe. But once RC and her dad had to leave, then they immediately like switched it up to being separated because it no longer worked. At least that's the story. But I think that would be interesting because I actually do wonder like are we just gonna get like 5 pairs voting one way? Like that could happen.
Good.
Yeah, because like I'll be honest, like if I have to vote my husband or my sister out after the merge to win for all of us, I will, but I'm not gonna vote them out to start. So like that's why I think it'd be a great way to start the tribes. Great suggestion.
100%.
Yeah. I did want to bring up for the next theme, I was going to bring up David versus Goliath again. I think it'd be fun to pit underdogs against people who are used to being successful, especially with how good the storytelling was that season and how good that cast was. I'm surprised we haven't seen it play out again, because you can really make that work. And like, I guess in a way, I guess maybe they're worried if they do it again. Like, I mean, the main storyline is that, okay, the Davids are gonna somehow pull this out after being on like the like the short end of the stick the entire time. So I guess, that storyline's already been seen. But I still think it's something that could easily work.
For sure. I also love me a Redemption Island. I do.
Ooh.
I don't know. That might be. I like the idea of getting a battle back chance to come back. I don't know if it was ever done, the best way. Maybe it could have, but I do like the idea of once you're voted out, your game's not technically done. Right.
I agree, because I haven't seen every season of Big Brother, but Big Brother does use that theme very well sometimes. And the people that battle back, they come back ferocious and they come back to play and win. So it has been done properly in other places. So I get on board with that.
For sure.
Yeah, I think for me, so I had that on my least favorite, like Redemption Island, Edge of Extinction. And the reason is I think it's good for the pre-merge. The problem is they never just end it at merge except Pearl Islands with the Outcast twist, which is why that twist also worked really well, is because Burton and Lil just came in at the merge and then got a chance to reintegrate, and then they just let the rest of the game play out. Now, should they have told everybody that was happening at the beginning of the game? Probably. But I still think that actually worked. I think, like, if they had left it at merge, like, I actually think Blood versus Water probably would have been even better than it already was. Because I think most of the drama from the pre-merge is just gone by the time the merge hits, because all the loved ones pairs are like mostly separated. And then yeah, like Redemption Island South Pacific, I'm actually wondering if, like, without it, I mean, yeah, we probably get like sort of a boring Paganin anyway. I don't think that probably changes things. But I don't know. I think it'd be more interesting to be like Redemption Island, the merge, Matt Elrod gets booted, and yeah, he gets sent right back to Redemption Island. But effectively his story was already done by like that point, because like he just basically is out of it the rest of the season and doesn't really do much. Like, he's okay with losing if it comes down to it. So I think it would have been more juicy if like he just gets sent to the jury instead of right back to Redemption Island.
For sure.
So but yeah, anything else for favorite themes? The only other thing I had was a pirate theme, like do Pearl Island sort of thing, and it doesn't necessarily have to be pirate theme, but like, I don't know, like put like a theme, like theme the challenges again, and maybe like that goes with the, like, because they are not changing locations, so they just choose not to change like the challenges around that, and we get the same thing over and over again.
Okay, that's fair. I can understand all that. I like the pirate theme too. I think Pearl Island, like the opening 10 minutes with the pirates loot, was one of the funniest moments in Survivor history.
Yeah, stealing the shoes. Yep, Rupert. All right, anything else from you guys that you really liked before we move on to the bad?
I think we hit all the top ones.
I think it's similar thoughts.
Yeah. All right, time for the bad ones that haven't been said. For me, I think some of these are kind of played out, and then some of these are just straight up bad ideas. I think Men versus Women is pretty played out by this point. We've seen it play out 3 times. Technically, Panama tried to start with them, but it lasted 1 episode, so it doesn't really count. But like, Amazon, I like, all the guys are horny for the women, and that's basically the storyline there. And you get the birth of Rob Cesternino out of Amazon. But like, I feel like that just doesn't work in a 2026 lens. And then Vanuatu, you get the storyline of Chris Doherty coming from out of like behind when he's down 1 to 6 women and then still winning the game. And then the other side of the coin, you get Kim Spradlin dominating in One World because it was Men versus Women, and she chose to go with the women because of how that theme shaped the tribes at the beginning. But I just feel like we don't need to see a Men versus Women theme back again.
I agree. I think I liked how you mentioned One World though. I like the idea of that. Was that the one they all started on the same beach? Yeah. Okay, I like the idea of that. It adds an interesting dynamic, but I agree. Yeah. I think the played outness of gender. I'd like to see that again though, but without the gender.
Yeah, One World is a good theme. It just got destroyed by them changing it to Men versus Women as well.
Yeah, One Beach is really interesting, but it is really rough to watch a group of men win multiple challenges in a row or just fight with each other and choose to go to tribal council while these women are just keep losing, but they're really trying to keep it together. And it was just a little bit of frustrating start to the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think the men only fell apart because Colton took control. So, like that. Otherwise, I mean, and also because most of the men on that tribe were not the brightest. So aside from Troyzan.
Yeah, I do not know Colton personally. I've never met him, but he did do a Talking with T-Bird episode on Rap a couple years ago, and he really does sound like he's grown and changed a lot as a person. But yeah, he was, oh my gosh, I would have voted him out first if I had to play with him.
Oh my god, he was ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, it's good to hear that he's grown at this point. I mean, he was only like 20, 21 when he first played. So like, I mean, that's very young, and like it, he hasn't had time to grow out of like beliefs that he's been raised up on. So yeah. All right. Lindsey, a theme that you did not like.
This is, hopefully it's not cheating. This is kind of basic, but it's essentially no theme. There's a lot of interesting moments and episodes in the new era, but it's hard for me to remember, oh, who played what at this time on this season, because my brain's like, oh, this is super easy. This person did this on Blood versus Water or Heroes versus Villains, as opposed to, oh, and did this on 43. Like, that's harder for me to recognize. And as a super fan, if I'm struggling, I would think the casual fans are even more so struggling.
Yeah, 100%. They even blend together for me. Like I can usually remember like the boot orders, but like then I get confused by certain things that happen unless I'm thinking of like the big memorable players that have been there. It's just unfortunate because I really wish Survivor realized that things were blending together and actually changed it up like I thought they always did before the new era. So
At least change the background, change the landscape, change the scenery. If you're not going to change anything else, the people are kind of the same. Like if you're not going to change anything else, give us a desert, give us no ocean, give us something different. I don't know.
Oh yes, like China being one of the only seasons to not technically have an ocean. That was so interesting to see how they adapted on the lake and the river. So yes, I could get on board with that.
yeah, or Africa literally not having any water aside from like the pool of elephant crap.
I just think I don't know. My argument with that is I think that kind of like what you said, new era Survivor, they blend together. You can't tell you say 45 and I like nothing goes off in my brain when you say 45 or 47 or 43. Like none of that means anything. But if you say Survivor Gabon or Survivor Tocantins or Survivor China, like you kind of get like an image in your head at least that helps kind of like frame the pieces. So I'm worried Survivor is gonna have fade into that like we can't recall a season besides a person who was memorable, and I think a season itself should be memorable too.
Agreed.
Well
Agreed
said.
completely. Yep. Jake, theme that you did not like.
And now I gotta go look at my list. I did not like white collar, blue collar, no collar. I did.
Yeah.
I understand the idea of different ways of life, how they can come together, how they can clash, how they are just inherently different. I understand it. I understand no collar is more like free spirited. I think they could have done just white versus blue. But I think that it didn't translate the way I think they maybe have wanted it to. And I think it's because it's the idea of that theme in general just wasn't strong. I think.
Yeah. I agree. I didn't really see it throughout the season of like how much that really meant at the end of the day. Because I mean, I really wasn't focusing on that in the season. I was focusing more of how like horrible most of the people were, and then how like Mike Holloway was just like the best of all of them, and then Mama C. Like, otherwise, I was like, man, Rodney sucks, Dan sucks, Will sucks. Like,
yeah, brutal season. Brutal.
Yeah. Lindsey, any thoughts on blue collar, no collar, white collar?
I very much agree with you. Like Mike Holloway, I think he's a great winner. Did what he had to win. The rest of the season, was a very tough watch. Like the theme was not incorporated well. It seemed like they tried to force it a little bit and didn't quite fit. There's another theme that's on my list that's similar that I have frustrations with the same problems. It just seems to me they're trying to do a Brain versus Beauty versus Brawn any way they can, and it just didn't hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lindsey, when you said a theme that they tried to force, I think that's probably the next thing I was going to bring up. That is sort of blue collar, white collar, no collar. It is heroes, healers, and hustlers. It's a mouthful to say. It's not.
What
like,
does it mean? What does it mean?
Yeah, it really doesn't mean anything. Like I was so confused, even like rewatching it a couple times that I have over the years. Like even just recently, like I'm just like I can't connect to this theme. Like I guess I'm a hustler in real life in some ways, like hustling this podcast, but like I don't really see any way like to fit this into my life compared to other themes. So
yes, that was hard to make sense to me because I'm looking at some of the people there, and Ashley's a lifeguard. It's like, cool, I was for 5 summers when I was 16 to 21. My hero too? What even is a hustler? Are we gambling? Like, I just didn't connect for me. What do you think, Jake?
I think if you can fall into multiple buckets, I think you got to scrap it right then and there. I think it again, themes only work if there's very much so diehard here versus diehard here. I think if the lines are even slightly blurred, I think it ends up being kind of like what you said, a bad theme.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like they were like, oh yeah, we have these heroes. We can do like a military hero like Ben, and like that might make sense. But then we're gonna do healers, which can also be constituted as heroes because like doctors save people's lives. And then I mean hustlers, whatever. And then like some of the heroes, it's like I mean Chrissy's a mom, like she raises kids. That is heroic. Moms are heroic every single day. I'm not gonna argue against that. And then what, like Alan Ball was like a football star. I'm like, that's a hero.
A modern day hero for sure.
Like, I don't know. It just didn't work for me. But in the same vein of season 30. But yeah. Lindsey, what's the next theme you have?
It was just going to be complain about HHH more, but you already stole that one from me.
Oops.
So
yeah. Jake, you have any other ones?
I one that I don't think would fly today at all. I think we all can say the same thing. I think Cook Islands. I don't think that is something that would ever fly today. I'm not sure why it flew then. From a social experiment perception, maybe, but even then, like still side-eyeing very hardcore. Weird. Yeah. I mean, it gave us really, really great Yule, amazing, Parvati, duh. But it was hot take and not a fan.
Yeah, like and we have like so many great characters and players from the season that came out of it, but absolutely not a good theme. I don't know why they came up with it. The only other good thing to come out of it is like it gets a diverse group of people with different backgrounds, and I think that's always good. But just don't do it in that way. Like don't split them that way. And they almost were going to do it again in Fiji had Melissa McNulty not dropped out of the season, which is like crazy. Like why did you think it was a good idea to almost do it twice?
It just adds so many like layers beyond game that shouldn't even touch the beaches of Survivor. And then lots of thoughts, but none good about it.
I think you nailed it right there. Features outside the game. Like I've seen you all do multiple interviews saying that he wanted to be a good representation for his race on TV, and he focused almost more on that than winning. And it's a game for $1 million. You should never have been in that position or forced to feel that way. And as Parvati says in the opening episode, is this kosher? I don't think so in 2026.
Not at all.
Yeah, I think it's also reported Yule like wanted to quit because of the theme. Like I think obviously glad that Yule didn't and that Yule won because he's a fantastic winner. But I can understand like wanting to leave, and also like I mean Cowboy's a great character, but like I mean he's there making not great jokes in the beginning.
He's quite the character.
Wash it and throw it away.
Yeah, so And then like we could have gotten the other great characters we had without that theme. Like Penner would be great on any Survivor season,
sure.
for example. And so like we didn't need that theme to bring Penner there.
Right? Like Billy Garcia, he's been on the pod before.
Yes.
He's been so fun to talk to. He could have done that on any season. We didn't
Right.
need to have it this theme.
Exactly. And I almost think like that Billy would have done better on a season that wasn't what it was. Like I think Billy's fantastic. So
Yes. Cast Billy again, Survivor. He's a huge fan and he's been watching and setting. I was blown away talking to him about his knowledge of the game. So
he
would love to see him more time.
Yeah, he knows Survivor history from talking to him, like, and he knows like all the different what ifs that could have happened. And I was blown away as well when Shane and I interviewed him, like, of like, wow, so if you actually stay in the game, the entire history of the show changes if you had been able to do what you wanted to do. So so let's see what the other themes I had. Oh, and then, I mean, I already mentioned Fiji. Let's just mention the haves versus have-nots.
Yeah.
Really bad idea. I don't know why they thought it would be interesting to put a tribe with nothing versus a tribe that has couches and food and cutlery and like just all the amenities that you would want. And
then you can go out and do a physical challenge.
Yeah, like it just was like the have-nots are struggling to like drink and like everything, and like, you know, you could argue maybe they were already not as like physically as great as the other tribe anyways, and so like that doesn't help them match up any better against them. So
100%. And everything I've read, this was a rougher area of Fiji than where they currently film, so the conditions are already worse than the last, however many 17 seasons we watched. So just seems very unfair.
Crazy.
Yeah, well, and it's crazy because we've also talked to Anthony Robinson from this season, and he was telling us about like the haves versus have-nots, and he told us about the explorers versus the builders. So that is the most interesting thing from the interview, is we finally got like a concrete answer as to what that was, what that was when it was happening. So I'd highly recommend checking out the interview with Anthony. But and then Earl's fantastic, and then Yao Man, of course. Like getting to meet Yao Man was such a highlight in December. So, all right, Lindsey, did you come up with any other ones that you wouldn't want to see?
Mostly just HHH again. I'm sorry, I cannot get over how much I dislike this theme. It is just driving me crazy in my head how much I dislike watching that one. We are hitting a lot of good points. I think the only thing I don't really want to see back anymore that we are seeing is not technically a theme, but it is if we start changing locations again. It is really rough to watch Marquesas and really rough to watch 32 because of just the conditions that the players are in, all the medevacs, the bud bikes. Like that's just, it feels like it takes away from the game a little bit, why the theme or the area is supposed to enthrall the experience, not take away from it.
And call me crazy, but I don't think they should have to starve to make good gameplay. I think give them all the food they want and let the game shine. We've seen, if I wanted to watch a survival show, I'd watch like Naked and Afraid. Like, you know what I mean? I want to watch it for the gameplay, and I feel like that is sometimes hindered by people's energy levels. And feed the contestants, hashtag it, put on a t-shirt. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
Feed the contestants, like, new merch dropping.
Like I don't think like it helps. Like I know people say like Australia is a good season. I think what hurts it is that these people were literally dying out there in season 2 and season 3, like in Africa. Like, and I still like the seasons to a degree, but I also just don't like seeing them starve. So
I will say everyone gets more clothing nowadays, though.
Yeah,
which I think is great.
Yes, yeah, they're not stuck in the same underwear.
Okay, question. Do you guys know the answer to this? Because this would be my biggest problem. Do they actually get to brush their teeth? Because if so, I would say we remove that theme. Like, let them brush their teeth.
Yeah, no, give them toilet paper, too.
Yeah. I mean, it pisses off Russell Hantz because like he went on a rant about Australian Survivor after he got completely destroyed on Australian Survivor, like that they had like porta potties or something. I don't know if that's actually true, but like, you know, I think they feed them more because they're out there for way longer in most of the seasons besides Australia versus the world. So like 50 days is a lot.
Okay, to be fair though, for Australian Survivor, 50 days in Australia in that outback or wherever they are filming, there's so many venomous animals there. Do you really want to take your chance finding a bathroom spot? No, I want that porta potty. I don't want to see any snakes or anything.
Yeah, I don't even know that the porta potty is accurate. It's probably just Russell.
I've heard that too, though, and I've always wondered like what actually goes on there. But hey, I'm not complaining. They produce good seasons. I'll take it.
Exactly, because I feel like they care about the game more than just like make them starve. Yeah.
100%.
So, anything else for bad themes here?
I think we hit them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did have Game Changers on here. That was the only other one I had, but that's just probably my hatred for the season. But no, I think it's just they need to actually cast correctly for a season called Game Changers.
Okay, that's fair. I had Game Changers on my list of seasons I want to see again and on worst themes, but for that reason, I'd love to see it with the people that created like the first vote split, like stuff like that. Actual Game Changers.
Agreed. Completely.
Yeah. So, all right, last question. What theme would you like to see explored that hasn't been yet?
I am so excited for this conversation. I think there's so many ways Survivor can go, depending on what is hot, what is hot and trending at the time. I think they can always match it to that. I think one personally for me. Now, tell me if I'm talking way crazy. I think scrap the tribes all together, put them all on a beach, put them all to tribal council, one person safe, sprinkle a few idols in there. You know how many plurality votes we could have just from the sense that like there's more options besides just 6 votes in an urn? Oh, I dream of days like that. I don't know the logistics. It might be kind of hard, but I think put them all on the beach, put them all in one tribe, every round's individual immunity, and watch kind of how the gameplay kind of evolves in that sense. I think that'd be really cool.
I love that. Fun. Yeah, I love that. I wish that was what One World was. Like, just like you can do One World and literally just not have tribes, and then they're just literally going to start with 18 to 20 people and then see what happens and how as you said, Jake, like how the game evolves, how people strategize, and like you're gonna get a really chaotic game.
Yeah, could you imagine that happening on One World and we have Kim Spradlin and Colton at the same tribal to start and then letting them go at it? That would be amazing.
I actually would have loved that. I think that probably would have helped the season a bit more. I
think that's phenomenal. Solid choice.
Yeah, I dream of that. I think that'd be so fun. I think it'd be hard to storyboard maybe from like a creating a show perspective, but I think how interesting would it be an alliance of maybe 6 could kind of dictate things, and you know what I mean? There's so many things they can do.
It's like the voting blocks instead of alliances could really come into play here.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Lindsey, what theme would you want to see like be explored that hasn't been?
So this is kind of an extension of a theme they've already done. I would like to see millennials versus Gen X versus Gen Z. Like, bring in the new kids. Let's let them go. Let's let these people cook.
Yeah, well, and how topical because Vanquish is doing Age of Reason right now. But yeah, I think they absolutely could do that again and have like the new generation come in. Although I mean, I think we'd get a lot of like the Will Wall type, which is fine because Will Wall was a funny character at times as a child, basically. I think that'd be fun to see. Jake, what are your thoughts on?
Yeah, I think there's definitely potential. I think just in the way, they all live their lives so differently, the things they value, the things that they will, like I think younger people have no problem lying for $1 million, whereas, older people, there might be some more ethicalness involved. And I think just the way they attack the game, I think would be really cool to kind of see how it clashes, see how it's different, and see how they prioritize different things. Because I think nowadays people are a little more maybe self-absorbed. So like, making decisions for yourself, whereas maybe another type would be more like groupthink. So it's kind of cool to see how that would play out.
Yes, love it.
Yeah, I think I'd probably I understand why they don't do this. I think it'd be cool to do a season like in the woods, or maybe when it's cold. I think a cold weather season might be a little bit interesting, but also I completely understand why they don't.
Completely miserable for sure, but oh god.
You earn that $1 million though. If you're fighting for it in the cold in the Arctic, I would die. I probably wouldn't even apply, but you would earn it.
Yeah. The first challenge is to build an igloo for your shelter.
Or when you vote somebody out and you ask them for their big puffer jacket because you're cold and you want their vote before you leave.
Yes, the Angelina. Yes.
I can see it. Crazy. And they're all sitting super close to the fire at tribal council. Yeah, no. Couldn't be me, but it would be interesting maybe if they're not suffering the whole time.
Well, because they did the summit whatever last year, right? Where it was basically Survivor hiking up a mountain. I don't know. I guess it's the closest we'll ever get to that. And I honestly stopped watching that show halfway through. So.
If you haven't seen it, there's a show called Extraction. I think season 2 is coming out soon, and it is very much in northern Canada. And a couple people did have to get removed because they were freezing, but it might give you that if you're interested.
Yeah, it came out. The new season started this week, and
I missed it.
Sandra's on it with Nina.
What?
Yes. And then there's a girl, Annalise from Big Brother 21. But yeah, definitely if you're a Survivor fan, check that out because you'll see a familiar face.
Ooh, good plug. I will watch that.
Yeah. 100%. Oh, and then other theme, real quick. I think it'd be cool to do a battle of the shows. I think Survivor, Big Brother, Amazing Race, because we've seen Australia versus the world, but how about different shows? How would they play Survivor specifically? And we've seen Big Brother and Amazing Race cross over to Survivor, and even Vanquish, the challenges crossed over with Vanquish. So
yes, could you imagine Brittany Haynes on an island?
Oh, my dream. Or how they had Sari come and play Big Brother, and then Rachel Riley speak about how she wanted to play Survivor, and Jeff was like, you got to apply. And so she's not getting any special reality star treatment to get on, which I thought was funny. But it'd be cool to see people from Big Brother kind of make their way over for sure.
Yeah. Well, this has been great. So thank you so much, Jake, for hopping on. This was a great discussion over good and bad themes and themes we might want to see.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This was great. I think we have a good list, you guys.
Yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments, what themes you would like to see again, what themes you don't want to see again. Tell us if we're wrong.
Drag us for our reads.
Feel free to drag us, but also we need a new theme, but you win $3 million instead, because $1 million is lost to inflation. That's my last throw-out pitch as we close.
Bump it up, inflation.
Yeah. Share, comment, subscribe, and we will see you all next time for more Survivor 50 content on the Tribe of Nerds.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.